All right, this is Brian Himbleman from Blue Nose RV Center in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. We're doing a demonstration today on proper usage of a unit for a customer. This is an Rpod 2015 model number 177. We're going to actually show how to set it up, get it running, usage of some of the appliances, just a general basic how-to video here. This is for a first-time camper, and we want to make sure that they're able to use the unit and ready for camping season and coming up. So we're going to back it into the site, obviously, first, and when you come in, get it fairly level, side to side. If it's not level, what you can do is behind the tire, put a block of wood on the low side and then back up over it, and that will bring it up level side to side for you. Front to back, obviously, we're going to use our tongue jack right here, and we'll just wind it either up or down, and that will raise or lower the front to get it level. Once it's fairly level, then you want to come over here to your stabilizer jacks in the corners. I already have this one down, as you can see. What you're going to do, very simple. We'll take our jack handle, put it on, and then crank it up or down, and what that does, it will stabilize the unit. So it's not meant to lift and level side to side. You just want to get it to the ground and then give it about a quarter of a turn more, and that will snug it up to the ground just to get that wobble out from inside the unit as you're walking through it. Back around to the front, you'll notice where your propane cylinder is located. This one here runs the whole system, some appliances inside. What you want to do, there's a little tip here. Your on-off valve is on the top, same as always. When you turn it on, give it a little turn first and then open it the rest of the way, okay? What can happen if you have this turned off and you crank it open right away and go to open it very fast? There's a little spring in this connection piece that can depress all the way, and then you will not get a full flame on your appliances inside that won't run properly. If that ever happens, what you can do, turn this off, disconnect the line, give it a tap upside down to release that spring, and then turn it back on like so. And then once again, a little bit of a turn, and then open it the rest of the way. That will make sure all your appliances run properly inside. Behind this unit, we install a 12-volt deep cycle marine grade battery to run your 12-volt lights and appliances while you're camping with no power. That one there is hooked up now. There's nothing that you have to do for that unit. The only thing I would suggest come wintertime, obviously, is disconnect it, put it inside the house, try not to keep it in the cold and off cement floors. We'll go around the outside first, and then we will jump inside and show some of the other features. On this model, we have an outside porch light with a switch right inside the door, and there are two outside speakers that run off the radio system. On the top is the fixed batwing antenna. That's for the radio and the TV unit to pick up that analog signal. Right here beside the tire is a nice little feature. This is what's called a black tank flush. So as you're camping over the weekend, your black tank from your toilet obviously is going to fill up. When you empty that tank from the other side, which we'll see in a few moments, it's always nice to be able to rinse that tank out so it's nice and clean. So on this unit, you can take your hose, connect it to here. It just screws on like a regular water hose. Make sure your valve is still open on your black water tank, so it is running that water out of the tank. And then you can turn this hose on that you're connected to here. What happens is the water is going to blow into that tank through some spray ports and keep it nice and clean. But the key is to make sure that the valves are open on the outside. What can happen if it is closed and you're filling this tank from this end, it will create too much pressure and you could blow a seal on that tank. Right over here we have some outside connections, power plugs, and then obviously storage compartments on the back end as well. This model comes with a screen room, which is stored in the box. We don't have it out just yet. It's very simple to use. It goes into this track that is right here above the unit. You can see it right there, and it runs all the way up and around to the front of the unit. So you just slide the screen room into there. There's some awning poles that go into that, and it gives you another sleeping surface, or if you want a dining surface or just entertainment room, sort of like a little bug screen tent on the outside of the unit. Back of the unit, obviously, spare tire. Pretty straightforward, but hope you never have to use it. LED lights on the back as well. Around the other side, we have a few more features here. So storage compartment. This one comes right from the other side, so it's right through the whole unit. We have a little clip right here, obviously. So when this door is opened up, you can put the door up, open your clip, and that will hold the door open. So you don't have to hold it with your head as you're looking in there, obviously. This grate beside us here, this one's for a hot water system. There's really nothing you have to get in here during the course of the season. This one runs everything inside. There's a few things I will show you. Right here, there's 2 reset buttons. So if it ever ends up that you're not getting hot water and your unit's turned on, come out here and just make sure these aren't popped. If they are, just depress them again, and you should have hot water. On top here, you will see a relief valve as well. If this unit is closed and you're using your hot water unit, you may see a drip of water coming out the bottom of the unit down on this end here. What that is water will come out of here as it expands in the tank. Obviously, there's going to be some moisture coming out, so it's going to drip down here and then run out. It is perfectly normal, nothing that you have to be concerned about, thinking that you might have a leak or anything like that. We have some connections here. So the top one right here, this is for our freshwater fill. So what this does, if you're going to a campground that does not provide you with water, some provincial parks like that, you're going to take your hose, maybe before you leave the house, or even at the campsite, they have a community tap. You'll hook up to that, take the end of the hose and stick it into the freshwater fill. What that does is fill the tank up inside, and that will give you water to be able to be used while you're camping for the weekend. Obviously, make sure the cover is full on that and tight while you're driving. The nice thing down below here is you also have a city water connection on this model. So if they do provide water, or maybe you're just hooked up at the house to a tap, you just, same as the other side in the black tank flush, screw it onto here, and then that will give you water inside the unit. And you're going to run that off of the pressure from the existing system, so the house or the campground. The freshwater fill on the top, there's a pump switch, which I'll show you inside, which will create pressure for us to be able to be used. Cable and satellite hookups here. So if you want to have a TV inside, there's 2 little coaxial cable connections. Obviously they're labeled there, cable and satellite left and right. Underneath on the bottom on this side is our furnace exhaust. This one here I always like to point out to everybody, we want the little kids to keep their fingers away so nobody gets burnt or scalded. That's going to exhaust some hot air while you're running the furnace. So make sure it's not blocked off by any lawn chairs or anything like that. Under the unit on this side, we have one of our 2 sewer drains. Okay, this one on the back side, you can tell by the handle is gray. We always like to paint that so people can tell. This is for our sewer connection for the sinks and the shower inside. This is what's called gray water. So to empty that, merely turn off your cap, let it hang to the side, and then you will take your sewer hose, connect it on and turn, and that hose will come out and then down the pipe, down the drain at the site. All right, make sure that your cover is back on when traveling. Once you get it hooked up and you're ready to go, this valve, all you're going to do is merely pull out, and that will drain it off. When it is done draining, you're going to push this valve back in, and that will close it. For the freshwater, when we filled up our freshwater tank, that tank is located right underneath here, okay? When you're done using that, obviously, you don't want to travel around with all that extra water in there if not needed. So underneath here, they label it for us. You can see that little spigot coming down here. This one here we're going to turn off, and that will give us our drain for our tank. So that will drain off that extra water in the tank, okay? Very straightforward on this unit. This one has a slide out. So it's an 18-inch slide. This is where our kitchen unit is inside. If you look on the top side here, the outside seals are very important on this model to keep lubricated so they don't dry out and you don't get some residual cracks in there where moisture can run through and possibly turn into a water leak. So there is a proper lubricant you can use. It's a slide-out lubricant. So you can purchase that at many RV spots. If you wish, you can go on our website, www.bluenosrv.com, And in the top right corner, there is a link to RV Parts Canada, which is our online parts store. And you can purchase items like that there, and they will ship directly to you. As we come around, on the outside of the slide, you'll see 2 vents. Those are merely ventilation vents for the back of our fridge. There's nothing that you're going to have to get into there to fix or to run. That's for, maintenance items, and also just a little bit of ventilation for the fridge. If you ever have an issue with your fridge has to be fixed, that's where we're going to jump in there and take a look at it. On the other side here as well, obviously slide out seals on this side, and they run along the top there. You can see the very corner of that one as well. Make sure you want to lubricate those. I'd like to say probably twice, maybe 3 times a summer, just to make sure that they're not drying out. Underneath the front corner of our slide out, this is where our sewer connection is. This is the black water connection. So this one is just coming from the toilet, and it works exactly the same as the one in the back. So when you go to empty it, what you're going to do, obviously first make sure that valve is closed, so in the in position, and then we're going to turn this one off like so. Connect our hose, which goes on here and turns, and then you would pull out that valve there. Alright, once it's done draining, it's a good idea, like I mentioned on the other side, to go around and connect the hose to the black tank flush. And what that will do is spray some clean water into the tank, and it will drain out through this system here to keep that tank nice and clean. Our power connection on this unit is right there underneath the slide out in front of the wheel. It's very easy to hook up. You just pop the cover like so. The cord will then go on and turn, and there's a ring on here which you can tighten so it doesn't just come off. That one there we have stowed away in the back compartment, just for travel, that it doesn't get lost. Back around to the front, before we jump inside, we have an exterior light. We have some foot brackets on this one for a weight distribution hitch made by Reese. The customer has purchased that aftermarket accessory, and I will go over in a future video how to hook that up properly. Our tongue jack on the front, which raises it up and down, and obviously our ball connection, which we'll go over in the hookup video. We'll take a look inside now and show some interior features, and that way you can see how everything runs. In through the door on this model, in the front we have a dinette, which is a nice seating area. You can seat 4 adults in this one very nicely. Sit around there, play some cards, have some meals. If needed, also, this one here goes down to a bed. It's very easy to get down to the bed. What you're going to do is underneath here in the front, right there, this pin, you're going to give it a pull. And it merely goes out this way. And then the whole tabletop swivels. I'll back up so we can see. Swivels down like so. You would fit it in that hole and then use the seat cushions on either side to fill that void. When you're going to bring it up, merely the opposite. You're going to swivel it up until that locks in place. You have storage underneath both seats in this model, so you can lift up on this side and get some storage items in the front here and on the other side as well. We have 2 little items over here in the back. That's a propane detector. So if you do get a propane leak, that will pick it up and that will beep and let you know. You may hear that beep once in a while, and it will beep probably once every 5 to 10 seconds. What that is letting you know is that your battery on the front is going low. This unit continually runs on that 12-volt battery, so if you do hear a beep, not a steady beep, just a single beep every 5 to 10 seconds, just check your battery on the front. This unit here is your converter. This is what is going to convert that 110 to 12 volt power, charge your battery in the front, and inside, it's just like the breaker panel in your house. You have some fuses and some 12 volt fuses here. If for some reason you're camping and say you lose some power in some lighting units or appliances, double check here first. Make sure it's just not a fuse blown or that has to be tripped back. Save you a little bit of money on a service call. This is a very important item here. It looks like a normal plug, but this is a GFI plug. So this one runs all the plugs on the whole unit. So if for some reason this GFI got tripped, like so, none of the plugs are going to run. So if you're outside, patio lights aren't running, check this one here, hit the reset button, and you should be good to go. This model has a nice microwave convection oven. It was an extra option. You can use your pots and pans and use it as a regular microwave if you wish. It's a nice feature. They eliminate the oven, so it gives you some extra storage underneath that stove unit there. Our fridge is below our microwave. The way this runs is very, very easy. This one's made by Dometic, and it's all push button on the top. So you have a power button, a 110 power button, propane, 12 volt, and a temperature setting. You also have a fault button on this side as well. The way it runs, turn your power on, and the first setting it will try and find is 110 power. So right now we are not hooked up to 110 power, so what it's going to do is flash 110 and also flash the fault button to let us know it's not running the way we wish it to intend. If we switch it over to propane, the unit will then automatically light the propane and the fridge will run. You can adjust your temperature setting on this side by hitting the temperature button. Ideally, they usually run between 3 and 4 setting to keep everything nice and cold in there. If we hit the button on this side, it will then switch to the 12 volt side. This 12 volt is running on that battery in the front. It's not highly recommended to run it on that setting all the time, as it will drain that 12 volt battery fairly quickly. If you have the options, you would ideally run it on electric or propane. You can use this item while you're traveling. Some people choose to. I highly recommend not, for safety reasons only. If you're having this running on propane while you're driving down the road, if you happen to stop to get fuel, the propane always has a pilot light lit. Accidents do happen. These Dometic fridges will keep everything cold in the fridge between 4 to 6 hours, and it's very seldom that any of us travel at one length of time for 4 to 6 hours. We always stop for lunch or a little bit of shopping. If you do, jump back into your unit, turn the fridge on, let it recool a little bit while you're doing the shopping or having lunch, and then turn it off and continue on your journeys. When you want to turn it off, you merely hit the off button here and the unit will shut down. Right on this top corner, you'll see where you depress the fridge to open the door. And obviously inside there's a light, a couple shelves in the door and inside the main unit. You get a small icebox freezer. If you wish, you can remove the whole icebox freezer, just like they show here, and it will give you more space inside to use as a fridge. A great unit built by Dometic. In our kitchenette unit, this one here has the bronze tap, hot cold water obviously, and it also has a removable spray nozzle here as well. So it's a nice option in this one here. 2-burner Suburban stove. This is very, very easy to use. There are two points here, one for each burner, that we're going to turn on and off. Okay. When we go to use these, it's a safety switch that you can't just turn that item on. You have to depress the unit and then turn it all the way to light. Take your lighter and light your propane stove. When you go to turn it off the whole way and give it a little shake to make sure it's in that locked position. When you first come in your unit for the weekend and you want to get that propane turned on, turn the bottle on the front and then come into the main unit, light your stove. Let the propane run through the unit a little bit to get it through the lines, and then come in and light your fridge and your other appliances if needed. It will make it a lot easier running those appliances if you run your stove first to get the propane drawn through the lines. Storage drawers underneath, and a main big drawer underneath your sink unit. Our bed's in the back in this model. Off to the side of the bed, we have a couple items back here. Smoke detector, a speaker for the radio, and in this one, it comes with a small little clothes rack, so you can hang some clothes up there, get them out of the way. Back around at the foot of the bed is where the radio is located. This one's made by Jensen. Very common RV radio. Very easy to use. Everything is all lighted up when you turn it on and labeled very well. This one has some extra features like a audio video in jack, a USB port. It is Bluetooth, MP3, and DVD compatible as well. Radio, DVD, and USB. Great unit for on those camping nights. You can also turn the outside speakers and inside speakers off or on by hitting which section you want on. So it's either speaker A, speaker B, or speaker C. In this model, I do believe that A is interior, B is exterior, C is not used. Over on this wall here is our bathroom unit. Light switch beside the door, merely on and off. Inside, we have the sink shower unit. So hot and cold water taps on the sink. There is a little knob here that we'll lift up on to get the water to come out through our shower. As you're showering, you can turn the water off by depressing the switch on the top, lather up, and then turn it back on and rinse yourself off to conserve on water. In the top of our unit here, it comes with a fan and a vent. It is a 3-speed, it's a little dark there, 3-speed, 0, 1, 2, and 3, with an inline fuse and a switch there to turn it open. So if we crank open our vent and then turn it on, it will exhaust the air from within the unit. There is a safety feature that when you turn it off, close your vent, it will automatically shut down. It will only run that fan so it doesn't burn out when that vent is open. Our toilet unit's down below. Very easy to use. Over on the far side, there is a gray lever. If you pull it towards you halfway, you will get water in the bowl. When you pull it the full way, it will empty. As it closes, it will put a little bit of water back in the bowl, which is good. What it's doing is keeping that rubber seal moist so it doesn't form cracks and you lose water in that basin bowl. Bottom of the unit, you obviously have the drain for the sink, or for the shower, sorry. So from the gray water tanks, like we had mentioned outside, that is your water from your shower basin, from your sink, and from the kitchen sink. The black water tank is from the toilet only. Beside the shower, on the outside, is our Dometic furnace and air conditioning unit. This one is very easy to use. Everything runs off of this single unit. We're going to turn the unit on, and what's going to happen first is we're going to turn on fan, and you have a few settings, high and low, and an automatic side. This will just merely circulate the air within the unit. It's not going to heat, it's not going to cool. If we push our button again, the AC will come on. You can set your setting on where you wish your internal temperature to be, and the unit will come on and bring the unit down to the setting where you like it. If we hit the unit once more, our furnace will be deployed. The way this works, the unit will turn on automatically. You can hear it running. And in the first 15 to 20 seconds, it is just blowing air. It then will automatically light itself, running on propane, and bring the temperature up to where you have it set. Once it reaches that temperature, it will shut down, and the propane furnace will then kick back in once it gets about 7 to 10 degrees below the temperature you have it set it at. If you wish to turn it off, hit the off button once again. That light will stay on for a few seconds, and you will still hear the furnace blowing. What it is doing is exhausting some of the extra heat within the chambers of the furnace. Once it is fully exhausted and back down to normal temperature, the fan unit will shut off. Just merely a safety feature. So if you do turn that off and you still hear your furnace running, do not be alarmed. It is merely doing its general running procedures. The unit is located underneath the bed, right on that side there. That's your furnace exhaust. That's where it's going to blow out all of your hot air for heating inside the unit. The rest of the area underneath there is storage. Obviously, don't jam pack that full of storage if you're going to use that furnace. The last few items are right here inside the door. So obviously a second speaker. You have your outside porch light, your slide out button, in or out. This is electric. I can show you how that runs now. So your slide out runs from that side of the sink up and around and back down this side of the fridge. When you want to bring it in, you hit the in button and the unit will come in. Very easy to use, very low maintenance. It's a foolproof slide. When it's in all the way, you'll hear it click. That's the clutch in the motor. And you just let go of the button and it will stop. When you're putting the unit back out, same thing, just in reverse. Hit the out button on the switch and your slide out will go back out. Gives you a little bit more room inside on the floor space. Back over here on the sidewall, we have some TV connections here. So you have a power port to plug the TV unit in. You have satellite and cable connections here with a little button. This is for a booster for in the antenna that is on the roof. If you choose to run this on the satellite or cable connections, make sure this booster is turned off. If you're using the antenna, turn it on and it will boost the signal in the antenna so it comes in a little clearer on your television. On this side is for video right and left audio. This one here is coming from that DVD player that was located in the back of the unit, right over there. It's going to send that DVD signal through the wires out through this section here into your TV so you can watch those DVD movies on the rainy night. Above this is the panel for your water systems. Very, very easy. This is the guide to let you know how full or empty your tanks are. So the top one is labeled gray. That's from your showers, your sinks. Black water, which is just from your toilet. Fresh water, which is how much is in your freshwater holding tank. And your battery. If we hit a button, it will show us how full each one of our tanks are. When we get to the bottom, it will show us how full of a charge is in our battery. Use these as a guide to let you know when to recharge your battery or empty your tanks. Underneath, we have two switches. This one on this side is for a water heater. It's a merely flick of a switch. It will run the hot water heater. It fills up automatically when your valves are open behind the hot water tank. It will run on propane, as it is right now. If you run out of propane or the wind blows out that pilot light, the DSI fault light will come on and let you know it's not running. Turn it off. Make sure your propane is turned on. Make sure you have propane and you're not empty. And then come back in and turn it back on. This is for your water pump. So after you get to the campground where they're not providing you